segundos y te extraño. Que dure siempre esta casualidad. Es que los otros no entenderán lo que se siente ser amigos, ser tan buen amantes, baby, un poquito más. Que dure siempre esta casualidad. Es que los otros no entenderán lo que se siente ser amigos, ser tan buen amantes, baby, un poquito más. Entre las bromas, ay, yo lo sé, que te enamoraste y yo, bebé, real no soy perfecta, amor que me inyectas, no me dejas quieta. Soy tu bebecita, te espero ya mis páginas donde no están escritas, porque los dos contigo podamos pintar donde vamos a estar, que nos va a encantar. Que dure siempre esta casualidad.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. I am not sure if the host matters. I am not sure if we're just audio torture or if we're just torture, depending on how you want to take a look at it. Anyways, how have you been? It's been such a long time, it feels like. Anyways, today's Monday, April the 25th of 2022, day 115th of the year, and only 250 days left to go. So let's see if we do this two more times. Let's see. So 150 days, and we do it two more times. There'll still just be a few days left. So that's a good way to look at it. So how are things? How are things in your neck of the woods? Have you been keeping it cool? Have you been doing the things that you want to do? Have you been enjoying what is going on in life? Because those are the things that we always should be talking about. Because those things are important. Seriously. They always are important. I know sometimes people go, you're just being sarcastic when you say that. No, seriously. I think that some of these things are super important on how you living the life. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Let's take a look around. Let's talk about what is going on inside of the world of the trends. Let's talk about where we're at. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, and don't worry, we're still in the multiverse of madness known as Safety FM, but we'll talk about that as we do all the time. So let's get into it. Here we go, trending over the weekend. I almost feel like I should start talking about what was trending over the week, but trending over the weekend in particular, let's get into it. Saturday was National Picnic Day. Also, hashtag We Love You, Jada, what is it? Poladecki? That's what we will go with. Was trending over the weekend as fans tweeted well wishes and hopes of speedy recovery after news broke that the actor was in a car accident. I'm not even sure. Oh, it says Jared. Oh, my God, I can't even read. Jared Poladecki. So there you go. What else was going on? Sunday was National Pet Parents Day. So hopefully that means Pets Parents Day and not Pet Your Parent Day, because that could mean something entirely different. Hashtag You Should Be a Lesson to You was trending on Sundays. Tweets included don't bite off more than you can chew, giving people a chance too many times, don't argue with internet trolls, children, and watch your back. Hashtag With You landed on Twitter's top 10 as trends yesterday following the release of BTS's new song. And then Emmanuel Macron was trending on Sunday following the news that he had won a second term as France president. So there you go. That was a lot of stuff that was happening there. Talking about trends in the box office, should we go ahead and talk about that, about what were the chart toppers? We'll do that. Well, let's do the top five. So from number 5, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It was number 5, $7.1 million. And number 4 was The Northman with $12 million. And number 3 was Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore with $14 million. And number 2 was Sonic the Hedgehog with $15.2 million. And at the number 1 spot with $24 million was The Bad Guy. It almost sounds like that should be the Razor Ramon story, The Bad Guy. So there you go. That's what was going on. So if you're not familiar in how we do things, and keep in mind that I am getting my my training wheels today because this has been a hot minute since I did this last. We normally talk about safety in the news and safety. So we will bring in some professional broadcasters. I am not that. We'll bring in some professional broadcasters. Then we'll talk about what is going on inside of the world of the news. That will happen. And then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll blend some safety. We'll blend some news. We'll take a look at everything that's going on around the world. And I'll give you some sarcasm. We'll give you some other things. And then we'll go, what the hell did we just experience? And then we call it a day. And then move on from there. So that's kind of how it goes. It is 6 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's do that right away. And I will get in my friends in here that will give you professional broadcasting with news-centric information on probably what we need to be talking about. So let's go ahead and do that ahora mismo, because I think that that's going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Congress returns from spring break today, and lawmakers hope to hit the ground running. The House is expected to discuss President Biden's request for an additional $800 million in military aid to Ukraine, although Democratic leaders in the Senate want to tie the aid to a $10 billion COVID relief package. That package has been stalled since Republicans tried to get around Biden's decision to reverse Title 42, a Trump-era COVID rule that stopped migrants from entering the U.S. to seek asylum at the Mexican border. Representative Henry Cuellar is urging the president to extend Title 42. Mark Mayfield has more.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the Texas Democrat said the administration is listening to immigration activists, but not the people who would be on the front lines of a migrant surge. According to Cuellar, whose district includes part of the southern border, those aren't just law enforcement officers, but concerned citizens living in border communities. He warned that the message of lifting Title 42 is going to go straight to the criminal organizations. I'm Mark Mayfield.
A firefighter has died after battling a raging house fire in Brooklyn, New York Sunday afternoon. Mayor Eric Adams was on scene.
It gives us great pain and sorrow to announce that New York City has lost one of its bravest.
31-year-old Timothy Klein died after he became trapped inside the burning home. The 3 other firefighters were able to escape, but Klein couldn't make it out. Discrimination against Muslim Americans is on the rise. Trey Thomas with details.
A new report from the Council on Islamic-American Relations says Muslim Americans filed over 6,700 complaints last year. That's a 9% increase from 2020. Complaints included everything from bullying in schools, freedom of speech issues, hate crimes, physical assaults, or placement on a federal terrorist watch list.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Moscow is failing in all of its military aims in Ukraine. China's struggling to contain an outbreak of COVID-19, with Beijing now on heightened alert. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's in New Delhi for talks with Prime Minister Modi, and Boris Johnson's written to opposition Deputy Leader Angela Rayner to distance himself from claims he says are misogynistic.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
The Supreme Court is taking up a case today about prayer in school. A football coach wants his job back. Joseph Kennedy says he spent 7 years kneeling on the field in prayer after games until the principal was alerted. He was told to stop, but then restarted. Over the past 6 weeks in Florida, the volume of COVID particles in wastewater samples taken in Miami-Dade have more than doubled. This as Miami-Dade commissioners okay a pilot program testing an iPad-like device to detect if someone has COVID by the palm of their hand.
It's the size of a small iPad, and you simply place your hand over the device. You do within about 2 inches. You do not touch the device, and nothing touches you.
Richard Postrel of the VOC Health says in less than 5 seconds they can detect infection. The devices will be tested at Miami International Airport and the Port of Miami for 6 months, beginning in July. The behavior of coaches, parents, and players is so bad in youth sports, sporting officials are now quitting en masse. Mike Bauer reports.
Sadly, verbal abuse isn't even the worst of it. A viral video on social media captured basketball fans' reactions. As a basketball referee required 30 stitches after horrific footage emerged of a high school basketball team, coaches, and parents chasing and attacking the helpless official. 50,000 high school referees, nearly 20% of the nationwide total, have quit between 2018 and 2021, and this exodus is leading to canceled games across the country, threatening youth sports just as they've begun returning to normal after 2 pandemic-stricken years. I'm Mike Bauer.
Wildfires are burning across large swaths of Nebraska and the Southwest. In New Mexico, the Calf Canyon and Hermit's Peak fires have combined to burn more than 54,000 acres. Around half of the state's counties are currently fighting fires. In Nebraska, the fires have turned deadly, claiming the life of a retired fire chief working as a spotter. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, you are. You are listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, it's currently 16 minutes past the top of the hour. You are hanging out here on RadioBig.fm and on SafetyFM.com, depending on how you're hanging out and doing all the fun stuff. So let's start talking right away about the things that are going on inside of the world of the news. By the way, I forgot to mention this, even though I guess I didn't have to mention it, even though I'm seeing people inside of there. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get in there, it will, voila, give you all the information, all the data, everything that you would want to do. Messaging, video messaging, text messaging. You can even call in directly if you still want to do so. And we'll kind of go from there and talk about that whole equation on how things are working out and see what happens. Anyway, so let's do the hit list coming from the top right now. A new data analysis by the Brownstone Institute reveals a troubling information about the mRNA vaccines developed by Pfizer and Moderna. In a randomized controlled trials, recipients of these shots showed no statistical difference in mortality from contracting COVID. Most importantly, the analysis noted that the mRNA vaccines were approved based on reduction in symptomatic infections instead of mortality. Let's see. That Pfizer and Moderna did not design their RCTs to determine whether the vaccines reduce mortality, and it is inexcusable as they could easily have been done so. So there you go. What do you think about that when you hear it? So if you did get the vaccine, the question becomes right away, did you do it because of infection rate or cause of potential of, let's see, how, that you would live longer? I mean, let's just be realistic. It's if you did contact it right there. I mean, just something to think about. So there you go. The analysis shows that that the Johnson & Johnson shot and the AstraZeneca vaccine has proven to reduce mortality in those who contacted COVID. So there you go. Meanwhile, in China, the Communist Party officials have strengthening their commitment to, let's see, for the unattainable zero COVID policy. In Shanghai, those who test positive are receiving door alarms that alert authorities if someone's infected with COVID and tries to leave their home. Additionally, those otherwise healthy people are forced out of their homes so that the state can come in and disinfect what's inside. So there you go. So think about that real quick. I mean, and let's just be realistic. If you are a older person, I guess they did remake it not so long ago, but if you are in my age demo, which means old, that would mean right away that if you're familiar with this show that has been remade, known as The Twilight Zone. And The Twilight Zone had some things that you would almost envision that are similar to what I just said when it comes to that. So it would probably make it an oogly boogly type of scenario as we are talking. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things because, that's always going to be an important portion on what we have going on. Meanwhile, at sea, Fortune magazine reports that 1 in 5 of the world's approximately 9,000 cargo ships are currently idling outside the port because of congestion in the supply chain. Outside of Shanghai, more than 500 ships await in a berth, nearly double as many that were waiting back in February. So this continues to add to our supply chain issue, as you are probably fully aware. I am not saying anything there that you would be like, this sounds unbearable, but think about it. So as we continue to see some increases in fuel costs, we see increases in goods. What will this cause there as well? Because that's going to be another portion for us to be able to talk about. There is no doubt about it on how that will work inside of this reality. So let's just continue talking about that. Let's see. I don't know, because I kind of feel that maybe we need some time right away when we start talking about mumbo jumbo like this, that it's time to bring in some Johnny Smalls, because he can give us some news on what's going on with the market beat. So keep your fingers crossed and let's hope for the best here.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, April 25th, 2022. The sell-off in equities extended for a third week, with the S&P 500 shedding about 2% for the session. The move was driven by increasing fear of FOMC aggression and could easily take the index back down to the 4,200 level. The risk for the market now is that the 4,200 will not hold and a much deeper decline could be on the way. The decline could be sparked by the Fed when it begins hiking rates, because there is a real risk of a recession. The CME FedWatch tool has the market pricing in 8 to 10 quarter-point hikes by July, which could be the fastest paced in living memory. On the inflation front, the PCE price index is slated for release Friday and could mark the end of any pretense of bullishness in the market. This will be the 13th report since inflation began to spike, and there's every indication it will be another hot report. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for letting us know what is going on inside of the market. So this way we can have the discussion. Anyways, let's continue talking. A one-eyed black cat nicknamed One-Eyed Joe has been reunited with its owners in Scotland after spending more than 5 years on its own. People, like the magazine, reports that it was first spent a few years around in prison, and there where prisoners took good care of it. From there, Joe managed to hop onto a shipping container that landed in an oil rig, and their workers connected to the people in the Scottish Society for Prevention of Cruelty of Animals, and even arranged for Joe to be flown by helicopter back to the British mainland. There, Joe checked for a microchip and found that he was actually named Dexter and belonged to a woman named Bertie Dorda. She says that he has always been a wanderer and hopes that she will help the cat keep in touch with the inmates that he befriended. So there you go. So, I mean, I have to tell you, it sounds like this cat's getting a lot more action around regards of being able to travel than I have in quite some time. It's quite crazy that out there, for sure.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, a Cambridge professor tells BBC Science Focus magazine that there is intelligence life on other planets, and it's probably remarkably human. Simon Conway Morris notes that even if they look a little different, it's likely that they have cultural interests in philosophy, literature, where there's prerequisites to any civilization that becomes highly technologically advanced. So think about that. So here we go, somebody else coming out of the woodwork and saying that there is life form on other planets. Does that get you excited? Does it get you nervous? What do you think about it? If you want to look into an older show, let's see, what was it? There was V, there was Alien Nation and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. How would you feel about this? I mean, it's a news story, so we're just talking about it, you know. So if he's saying that, what do you think? Do you think there's a there's a possibility. Yeah, that's for sure. Anyways, to continue talking, Country Time powdered lemonade mix says that the canister, it makes 8 quarts, but does it? An Alabama man has filed a suit against Kraft Heinz, which makes the mix, alleging that when made accordingly to the direction, the mix of the only yields about 6 quarts. The suit is seeking unspecified damages for Kraft Heinz to stop mislabeling the product. So hold on. How do you take something like this to court? Like seriously, like do you sit around for a moment and go, okay, listen, I have bought this. This has been mislabeled. I mean, and I get it that sometimes they short some stuff. I want to make sure. But at what point do you go, I think I have a court case here, opposed to going directly to the manufacturer? I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this? Would you file a lawsuit because there's not enough powdered substance of what you're looking for inside of there? I mean, I'm just asking the question.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, entertainment's not the first thing that comes to mind. Anyways, let's talk about the stocks on Fridays had their worst day since October of 2020. The Dow barely improved from the session of low of losing 1,019 points during the day. Friday's losses completed 4 consecutive weeks of ending below where it started. So there you go. Some information going on inside of that neck of the woods. Let's talk about some other things that are going on out there right now, because this is going to be some important stuff. Let's see. Dr. Jha is confident in the fight against COVID BA.2 subvariant. The new White House coronavirus responding coordinator is confident that the U.S. can get it through the Omicron case surge. Trey Thomas has more information.
Dr. Ashish Jha says the U.S. is in a much better place now than we were during much of the pandemic.
More than 200 million Americans vaccinated. Hospitalizations are at their lowest in the entire pandemic since March of 2020.
Appearing on CNN State of the Union, Dr. Jha stressed that health officials will continue to watch the numbers in case hospitalization and death rates increase. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for that one, as we are talking about some things going on inside of the world here. Now, you did hear this earlier, but I'm still kind of in shock about this. Let's see, cases of COVID across South Florida have increased. Over the past 6 weeks in Florida, the volume of COVID particles in wastewater samples taken to Miami-Dade have more than doubled. The Miami-Dade commissioner okayed a pilot program testing the iPad-like device to detect if someone has COVID by the palm of their hand. Just in case you didn't hear it, I want to make sure that we talk about it again.
It's the size of a small iPad, and you simply place your hand over the device. You do within about 2 inches. You do not touch the device, and nothing touches you.
So Richard Postry of VOC Health says that it's less than 5 seconds that they can detect the infection. The devices will be tested at Miami International Airport and Port of Miami for 6 months, beginning in July. Richard Postle of VOC Health says the technology picks up compound in your bloodstream.
And in 3 seconds, we collect the volatile organic compounds that are emitted from the palm of your hand, your body odor. And in 1/10 of a second, it's analyzed by our system and gives a result.
Postural says that he can tell in less than 5 seconds if someone is positive.
Be used in any environment where large communities of people congregate and want to have an assurance that nobody inside of that environment is infected.
So isn't that interesting? So now he is saying that BO is a good sign of what is going on over there. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves forward. Anyways, in some other news, Ukrainians getting more aid. Biden announces ambassador pick. The U.S. is giving Ukraine another $322 million to help fight Russia. NBC's Bree Jackson reports the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visited the war-torn country yesterday, meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky.
Their war zone trip comes at a critical time. Russia's attacks in eastern Ukraine have intensified, with evidence of more mass graves uncovered. President Zelensky urged the U.S. secretaries not to show up empty-handed.
And they didn't. The confirmed diplomats will begin returning this week, a city near the border with Poland. This morning, President Biden announced plans to nominate Bridget Brink, better saying, the current U.S. ambassador, as the U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine. So it'll be interesting to see what is going on inside of the mix of things that are going on inside of the world. Anyways, let's talk about this. Plane swap stunt fails as plane spirals out of control. An aerial stunt failed to go over as planned on Sunday evening. Trey Thomas has more information.
Pilots Luke Akins and Andy Farrington aimed to swap planes more than 12,000 feet above the Arizona desert and skydive to the other aircraft.
Blue plane is out of control.
Farrington made it out, but Akins did not, opening his parachute and landing unhurt. The FAA says the uncontrolled plane crashed despite being equipped with a parachute. I'm Trey Thomas.
So there you go. When stunts go wrong, I mean, I always ask the question, why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane if you could avoid it? I mean, just some stuff to think about as we are talking this morning. Anyways, CARE reports increase. Let's see. No. Don't want to say that one because we just talked about it. So ignore that. Ignore that one. House. Let's see. Let's talk about this. House comes with basement occupied. Listen to this. A home that was sold for more than $800,000 in Fairfax, Virginia, is coming with an unusual feature. Mark Mayfield has more information.
The 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house sold earlier this month, but the listing generated headlines as it read there would be an occupant living in the basement of the home. Fox 5 DC reports the property received 5 offers and was under contract for an amount above the asking price. A neighbor told the news outlet that a woman and her daughter live in the basement. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So how does that work? So does that mean that you have income property right away that comes into the whole thing? Or are you looking at it and going, this could be a problem because that's not really what we're talking about? I don't know. Just some things to think about. Anyways, Governor Murphy pitches Ireland on doing more business with New Jersey. So he started pitching this idea of doing more business with New Jersey. Sarah Lee Kessler has some more information on what's going on.
After his first day in Ireland on Sunday and a visit to the Guinness Storehouse and Gravity Bar, Governor Murphy said he believes some Irish companies are ready to sign on the dotted line. He and First Lady Tammy Murphy are in Ireland with a delegation of New Jersey business and academic leaders pushing for more economic activity between the island nation and New Jersey. He's stressing the importance of a shared heritage. Murphy is Irish American. Today, he'll host a number of roundtables trying to drum up more Irish investment. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
I should prominently warn you that I could possibly not really even call this a main story. We'll just talk about it as a jargon of the bargain and a mixture of the things that were going on. So you did realize that at some point recently I started talking about, resetting and doing some things of talking about, I won't say mental health. I mean, we can go as far as mental health, but mental wellness days. Kind of that stability thing that we've been talking about. And I recently started going down this whole slew of things about talking about going back to your roots. So last week, while I was gone most of the week, is if you might, hopefully you did notice, even though, they kept it down here. They kept it down here in regards to what was going on in both stations. But last week, I decided to go back and go back to the beginning. I mean, I won't say the beginning, but while in high school, I grew up in a little town in Texas known as Waco. But good old Waco, Texas. So I decided to go back and reminisce for a hot minute of the good old times in Waco. And it's interesting that sometimes when you go back to where everything started on how things are different now. And if you are aware, if you do watch, let's see, what is it, HGTV and all that kind of fun stuff, you know that Waco has blown up in regards of the people talking about what is going on with style and changing on how home ownership is, and that has a lot to do with Chip and Joanna Gaines. So it was interesting going back after several years to take a look around where everything started for my journey. And, that's a journey. It's a journey conversation on where I started to where I am and blah, 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 and all that kind of fun stuff. And sometimes I think it's difficult that we forget where everything starts and how we got to where we are at. And it's easy, and I'll say that it's easy to compare to where you are at when you are trying to establish different things. It can be something inside of your life. It can be something inside of your organization. It can be just something that you're working on in general. And that's what we tend to forget sometimes, is we don't take that moment to go, this is where we were at and this is where we are. And it is good from time to time to take a look back to go, this is how far we've come. And it's amazing to me at times when we look at our organizations and when we look at where we are in regards of our journey of how operations are changing. Now, you can take that however you want in regards of how your culture change goes into it. You can take it however you want when it comes into how your safety programs or safety momentum is going inside of there. And that's the thing. I think sometimes we just tend to forget where we've been and where we are. And if we could just get more along the lines of this is what we've done and this is where we're going, or this is where we are headed. And sometimes when you're midway in that journey, it's difficult. It's difficult because sometimes things can become stagnant. Sometimes things can become, where it's not advancing where you want. And you might need to take a look back. And listen, I know that I don't like leaving you. I don't like taking days away from what you and I get to do together here, where we get to do this Monday through Friday. But I at this particular point, I felt like that was something that I needed to go out and do. I knew I was going to come back and do this again. And I didn't think that this trip was one of those trips where I needed to be on the air and here all at the same time. I felt like, hey, we can do this. We'll come back and we'll come back after a short little few days of separation and get to do some things. Now, I'll tell you, as I got to go around a little bit in the area that I grew up in, it was interesting seeing some of the old things. Now, unfortunately, I did not get to catch up with old high school mates, all old high school friends, all that kind of fun stuff. But maybe next time when I get to go down there and the trip is a little bit longer, it can become a different story. But if you hang out with me on social media, you know that I did manage to make it, to one of my favorite restaurants while I was there. Smoltz's is still one of the best places that's in Waco, personal opinion. In that regards, I still think it's probably one of the best sandwiches on the planet, just based on bread alone. But that's the thing. When it's all said and done, I think that from time to time, you need to take a day. You might need to take a little bit of time in regards of looking on where you were to where you are and how that journey went for you. Because that's the thing. The journey is always about progress. The journey is always taking a look on how to make yourself better day in and day out. And the only person that I'm ever trying to compete with, and it took me years to get to this point, is myself. I want to be better than what I was yesterday. And believe me, it is a work in progress every single day in regards to trying to do that. Maybe start thinking about something differently today. And today, I will not tell you that I'm losing it. I'm just going to tell you, I challenge you. I challenge you for you to be a better person than what you were yesterday, today. Think about that one. Seriously, think about it for a little bit. Because it can make you go cuckoo for Cocoa Butts if you let it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you
can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the Pre-Accident Investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Le pongo roja si preguntas cómo estás. Es que tus besos me saben a miel y toca tu pie también. Al corazón directo llegarás. Te quiero más de lo que quiero. Al final tengo un caballero. En mi vida no habían sido tan sinceros. Eres mi bandolero. Porque mi corazón palpita. Siempre he sido tu chiquita. ¿Cuántos te amos van ahorita? Yo ya perdí la cuenta. Quiero decirte que te amo.
Okay, there you go. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Radio Big and Safety FM. This is the Rated R Safety Show. Let's see, that is Casualidad by Nei Nei. You can find this song readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So thanks to Nei Nei for allowing us to play this one. So there you go. I think we still got some more info that we need to talk about, and I did not have it ready for you. I did not have it good to go. I did not have all the stuff. Because you know, it is that time to talk about the most important thing that I'm going to tell you. It's time to demand more for mental health. Raise your voice. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences of people from your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. I'm going to tell you, if you do these things, you'll be able to get some information if you need some help, or you'll be able to get information to potentially be able to assist others. It's a win-win when it comes to it. And what I always say is that, if you really start thinking about this, what we need to do is be able to talk about this all the time. And we need to get this stigma away from this conversation, because this is something that people go through. And listen, I'm going to tell you, in regards of, depression and suicidal thoughts, it's more common than what you think. It really is. Just something to think about. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely, lovely world of ours, because you never know. So let's get into talking about what is going on. I don't know if you heard about this, but Netflix had not only announced last week that it plans to introduce commercials into the streaming service, it said that it will finally make good on its plans to crack down on password sharing. How? The company will likely introduce an extra fee for subscribers whose accounts are being used in multiple people's outside of their home. The company has already started to test the feature in Peru, Costa Rica, and Chile. Netflix is charging additional fees to sub-account for up to 2 people outside their home. The pricing in the U.S. is $2.13 to $2.99 per month. Industry observers say that the company starts with an alert that's sent to an account holders whose passwords are being used in other households, advising them that their options are that people that use their shared passwords can transfer profile to either a new account or a sub-account, allowing them to keep their viewing history and recommendations. Netflix says that more than 100 million households are using shared passwords. Just in case you were looking for a good reason to contact your ex, well, there you go. Does the price of the sub-account go up every year too? I mean, that's maybe that's something to think about, because doesn't it feel like the account pricing goes up all the time? And then here's the other thing. If you start incorporating ads into Netflix, are we talking about mid-shows? Or are we talking at the beginning of the show? Or are we talking at the end of the show? Because imagine that. All of a sudden, let's use the example of this Friday, because the ending of the Ozark is coming up. So the part 2 of the final season of Ozark comes up. You're watching this, and all of a sudden there is a big moment, and you get an ad. How happy are you going to be, especially when you're paying whatever you're paying for the thing? I mean, that's going to be some people are not going to be too happy about some of this stuff. Just something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, let's talk about some blasting and fasting, because this is always important. If you're taking part of the intermittent fasting trends to lose weight, you might as well grab a sandwich. A study published on Thursday in New England Journal of Medicine found that time-restricted eating, where participants are allow themselves food inside a window as little as 6 hours per day, is no more effective than traditional calorie counting. Researchers in China followed 139 patients with obesity for 12 months. One group put time-restricted eating with calorie restriction, and the other one just put restricted calorie diet. Both groups lost the average of 14 to 18 pounds. There was also barely a difference in BMI, waist circumference, body fat, or metabolic risk factors. Someone had better tell Gwyneth Paltrow about to update her website. I'd never starve myself for 18 hours a day just to lose weight. If I also make me fabulously wealthy and deliciously handsome, then maybe, but just to lose weight, maybe it's something else to think about for sure.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here you go. Good news. Ground was broken on Earth Day, which was Friday, the world's biggest wildlife crossing, spanning over 10 lanes and 101 the 101 freeway in Los Angeles area. The historic Walls Annenberg Wildlife Crossing will be the global model for urban wildlife conservation. 2,700 mostly private donors raised $15 million for the construction of the 165-foot crossing on Liberty Canyon, where some of the wealthiest Hollywood celebs live. The crossing will preserve the bloodversity of the reconnecting of the integral part of the wildlife corridor for such diverse species as bobcats, foxes, deers, lizards, and most critically, help and save the threatened local population of mountain lions from extinction. Plus, it will be the way for Gary Busey to safely cross the road. Imagine the faces of the staff of the Idaho Humane Society when the 9-year-old Ben Miller stopped in and dropped off a plastic bag filled of $1,150 in cash. He's been raising the money through a lemonade stand since visiting the shelter back in 2019 and noticing that some cats didn't have toys. Ben's mom, Amy, says that he spends hours selling lemonades, even offering lavender flavor alongside of treats like cookies, and has raised over $2,000 in total. Some people have traveled nearly an hour to get refreshments and make a donation, and others have sent money online. A rep from the shelter said that they were in the middle of a kitten season, and every dollar they can get helps for medical care, food, and yes, toys. So Good News Network provided that information. Good stuff there. Good. It's a feel-good story, if one may say so, right there. Anyways, I think it's time to bring in some Johnny Smalls and let him tell us a little bit about the Motivation Minute. Well, hold on. Maybe I will bring in the Motivation Minute if I ever get my buttons accounted for.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Britain. Bob Marley said, "Some people feel the rain. Others just get wet." I love that quote. There is a huge difference between feeling the rain and just getting wet. We were on vacation a while back, and I watched two groups of people go through the very same experience in a completely different way. The flight was going to leave about 30 minutes late. The group to my right said, "We have to wait another half hour before we can even get on the airplane." While the group on my left said, "Our vacation was just extended an extra half hour." I smiled as I thought about the two completely different perspectives on the same exact event. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. When it comes to introducing new habits into our routine, it's important to have a better understanding of the process of change. Based on what we know about neuroscience and human behavior, information and advice alone are not effective at producing satisfying behavioral changes. And the kind of change we're referring to involves neuroplasticity, which is the capacity of our nervous system to learn new things. Neuroplasticity enables behavior that is initially tentative and deliberate to become automatic and reflexive. For adults, change requires deep learning. Deep learning has two essential components: deep attention and deep rest. Change, or neuroplasticity, doesn't occur during the deep attention phase, but during periods of deep rest, primarily sleep and non-sleep recovery during the day, such as mindfulness, meditation, self-hypnosis, and rest. For additional information, check out alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does that mean between you and I? It means that TikTok, we are running out of time, because that's normally how it goes about. Imagine a world where we had all kinds of time. Oh, okay. Now that's something else. Okay, so let's continue talking about some of the other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours. Now, let's not get swampy, because I don't think we have that kind of time. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for a $31 million jackpot or an $18.4 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $421 million jackpot, or a $252.1 million cash payout. So there you go, if you're so inclined to go out there and play the game. What else do we have? What else do we got? What else? Let's take a look at things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look. Back in 2019, Microsoft becomes the third U.S. company to hit the market value worth $1 trillion. The other two were, well, you ready for this? Apple and Amazon. So back in 2019, did I just almost lose my voice because it sounded like it? So let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because you might care about that. Let's see. Sammy Fender and Maggie Rogers both turned 28. Jonathan... I can't talk. Jonathan Bailey, 34. Daniel Sherman, 36. Matthew West, 45. Tim Duncan, yes, for basketball, 46. Jason Lee, 52. Gina Torres, 53. Renee Zellweger, 53. Joe Buck, 53. Hank Azario turns 58. Adam Silver, 60. Len Goodman, 78. Al Pacino turns 82 today. And William Roach turns 90. So there you go. Just some quickies right there. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, I'll give you some of those. Let's see, National Zucchini Bread Day, National Telephone Day. Now, when they talk about telephone, are they talking about the wired telephone, or are they talking about cell phones? Maybe that's another question. National Hug a Plumber Day. Good luck there, you plumbers. Let's see, National East Meets West Day. And then last but not least, it's National DNA Day. So if you ever take a look at the double helix of the DNA and kind of ever took a look at some other symbols that are out there, you might be shocked on what that symbol resembles. It looks like something else. But maybe that's something for you to do on your own, opposed to me telling you exactly what it is. Yeah, let's do it that way. I think it sounds a little bit more fun, opposed to me just giving you the inside Iggy. So there you go, some information right there. What else? Some quick whack facts. A pound of potato chips costs about 200 times more than a pound of potatoes. Although getting a single tattoo can temporarily weaken your immune system, receiving several tattoos over time can strengthen that. Oh, I'm glad that I've been strengthening my immune system for some time then. The word girl was originally used to refer to a small child regardless of gender. The phrase head over heels was originally heels over head, which makes more sense literally. The dark side of the moon is actually turquoise. Johnny Cash was attacked and nearly killed by his pet ostrich back in 1981. I mean, that sounds like a massive attack. I mean, think about that real quick. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, here you go. At school, I failed math so many times I can't even count. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What odd thing from your childhood do you feel nostalgic about? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question. Almost 40% of people agree that this instantly makes someone more attractive. What is it? Wearing sunglasses. I thought they were going to say alcohol. Drinking alcohol makes other people around me more attractive. I mean, I don't know. Just some things to think about. So anyways, that's going to pretty much sum up what we have going on today. Thank you for coming back, and after me being gone for such a long period of time, coming back, hanging out, and doing some things together, because I really do appreciate that. Here on Radio Big and on Safety FM, we could not do what we do without you. You are definitely the most important part of all the things that we get to do together. Now, listen, throughout the week, we'll be hanging out on this show. If you want to come over to RadioBig.fm, I'll be going over there in the next few minutes, doing the world of music, doing the stuff that we get to do. We are now on TuneIn Radio on that show. This is Jay Allen, the morning show. If you want to come over and listen to us on Radio Big, you're more than welcome to do that on TuneIn Radio. We have music throughout the whole day, so just in case. And then if not, if you're going to stay here, stick it out on Safety FM. We got some more safety shows coming your general direction, so you're more than welcome on hanging out and doing the things that we get to do right there. So if you're not hanging out with me on RadioBig.fm, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll do some things on the other side. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. It is better to walk alone than to walk with a crowd in the wrong direction. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Que te enamoraste y yo, bebé, real no soy perfecta, amor que me inyectas, no me dejas quieta. Soy tu bebecita, espero ya mis páginas donde no están escritas, porque los dos contigo podamos pintar donde vamos a estar y nos va a encantar. Que dure siempre esta casualidad.